We go. Hey everyone, Yan Zhao back again. Today, Aaron Bennett returns for either an early morning or a late Australian night show. How you doing?
I'm doing extremely well.
All right, so you got the project launched. It seems to be doing pretty well for the first week. Are you able to sleep at night now, knowing that
I
things are out
wish.
there?
Yeah, I really wish I could. Every day I have anxiety, so... Oh,
Yeah.
has it gone up? Oh, no, wait. I
It's
think...
in US dollars, but
Oh, I
maybe it's gone
see.
up. Yeah,
That tripped me
this
up.
always confuses people. Let's see.
It looks a lot healthier on my side in Australia.
I know. I had Peter Simeti from Alterna Comics on one time, and I forgot I had been using a VPN that I had set to Canadian city, so it kept displaying in Canadian dollars. And he was like, "Wow, my campaign went up so much." And then we learned the truth. It was sad.
Yeah, then depression hits him. Like, oh, God. Yeah,
um,
that's all right.
so what are the big uptakes? What have you learned about actually getting a campaign up and going?
What have I learned? I think the biggest thing is you can't edit the perks once you've got a sale. You can't make adjustments to shipping. So,
Okay.
yeah, so that's helpful.
All right. All
Um,
right. I think
but,
you can add perks, even though you can't necessarily change them.
yes, you can do that. And we figured that out at the last moment. So there were a few stumbles, as we were getting this thing up and running. But it's looking good now. Everything's looking really nice, I think. I mean, you be the
Yeah.
judge.
Well, I think it looks fantastic. We've got a lot of new art from Rod, who theoretically will join us in a few minutes.
Yes, yeah, I'm excited because I think he's come up with a few ideas and a few visuals that they weren't really my ideas, and they kind of came out of nowhere. And I was so like, yeah, man, let's go with that. That's different. So it's exciting. Tonight you're gonna see, well, this morning, I guess for you, you're gonna see some new artwork.
Oh, and speak of the devil. Hey, Rod.
Hey, what's up? Sorry for the late.
No
Good morning.
problem.
Good night for Aaron and Yan. Good.
It's still night.
All right. What's up? Just
Getting some last minute espresso in.
yeah. Sunday morning. Just wake up. The kids they playing around until late last night. Oh man, just wake up. What up?
What up?
What up?
How's it going?
All good, man. All good. And you guys?
Excellent.
Good.
Mm,
Really good.
So
nice.
Rod, we were just talking about.
Mm.
Aaron was saying you have new artwork.
Oh yeah, I have it. I just let me show you here. If I can share my screen.
Yep.
Let me see here. Let me share. All right, let's see if I can make it. Just a second. All right, done.
Here we go.
There you go. Can you see?
Yeah.
Aaron asked me to give you a little bit of more dark shadows, so I need to finish some shadows under here. But it's almost everything done. So I think Aaron can talk more about that sequence, but I think is one of the first action sequence of the story.
That's right. First one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very cool. So just for anybody who hasn't seen your project yet, what's the basic overall story?
So the premise is basically the movie Alien, but with a demented cult and psychedelic drug use.
Yeah.
That's
Okay.
essentially the gist of it.
Now, is the psychedelic drug use by the cultists or is it by our heroes, or both?
It's kind of both. In this world, a lot of the people have been genetically modified, so they can survive in this world, which is quite harsh on the body. And these drugs, these happy pills that you might have seen on the Instagram page, they
Okay.
help the body cope with the effects of the genetic modification. Unfortunately, they're very addictive, and if you take too many, they do cause psychedelic effects and insanity. So you've got that mix right there of dependence and trauma from the use of them. So, yeah.
Very cool. Yeah, Rod, I really like the colors on this. It's really
I think.
interesting.
Oh, thanks, man. I think it was one of the ideas Aaron was to use this kind of palette, color palette, to remind us this kind of psychedelic effect
Ah,
in the whole story. And I really love it. This kind of blue, green, purple kind of palette. I love it. It's very, very different to what I used to do in my comics.
mhm.
In this series, I'm doing all by myself, so pencil and colors. Um, so I have a better control of the final page
Mhm.
when it's printed. Because I like to do black and white too, but I have to train my mind to let it go when I finish a page, because I don't like to see colored for another person, because I will see the mistakes, or not mistakes,
Yeah.
but the way that I could do. So I let it go, and here I can try different things, different textures, different color palettes, and I really like that art direction that Aaron gave me.
Mhm.
He said, "Man, let's try to make a different kind of color palette for comic book. You usually don't see this kind of colors. It's more like regular red,
Primary.
green,
Yeah.
blue is all this. Yeah, all the same. And this is something that inspired me to make this different kind of comic book, right? Not just another story or story of space, but bringing something new.
So, since you're doing all the artwork, like how long does it take you to make a page for this book compared to if you're only doing the pencils and the inks?
Oh, it takes more. It takes more. If I can, like, if you have all the money to produce the page, because right now Aaron is financing everything, so regular 3 days to make a really good page, because I do thumbnails. I sent to Aaron, he get approval. Then I make pencils. We was trying to make black and white, but wasn't getting there. So first I did all the inks, and then I make the colors. But right now I'm trying to do pencil and straight to colors and textures. Um, so yeah, but you see, if you see on the details on the background, is not. I The first idea of Aaron was to produce a lot of concept art.
Hmm.
So we have this kind of video game feeling in the story. So every single panel is take care on the background. Generally, on the comic books, uh, how can I say, to save time, we save time on the backgrounds. So
Yeah.
mainly in American comic books. Japanese is different, European different, but in American comic books, you do a very big figure in foreground, and then the background you don't put so many details. But here we are trying to bring something different. So you have details in every single panel, and this, of course, takes a long time to finish. Colors and textures.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting to see someone who's doing everything. I think one of the biggest problems with indie comics is the coloring. Like,
Mm,
oh,
yeah,
people will post art that's black and white, and I say, oh, it looks really good. I like that. And then when
mhm,
the colors come, it's just, oh,
yeah.
either not
It
well
lose.
done,
Yeah,
or
yeah. It
even if
lose
it's
a
not
lot.
well done, like, yeah,
Yeah.
you lose a lot of that line work.
Hmm. Yeah, what I like to work with Aaron is that he had a very defined kind of what he wants in the art. So for me, it's so easy because I know what the guy wants. And he said, man, put a little more purple, put a little more blue, or more darker, more shadows. And he gave us just a little tips, and I capture it very fast. And because I work it a lot with a lot of creators, and sometimes I lose like 1 week to finish one page because the guy doesn't want what he wants to do, so doesn't know what he wants to do. So it's back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And comic books, like I said, is almost like a factory.
Yeah,
When you define the whole story, you need to produce pages, pages and pages and pages and pages. If you stay too much back and forth, you can pass a whole year producing 30 pages. And when you arrive in the final page, the first one will be old. The style will be old.
yeah.
So with Aaron, I feel that we connect very fast to bring his vision to visual.
So, Aaron, you do have an art background, yeah?
Yes, I'm a graphic designer by trade.
So, do you think that makes it easier for you to communicate with Rod, like, and get exactly what you want out of the art?
100%. Yes.
Totally,
Um,
totally.
I have this issue at work constantly trying to
Mm.
express the way an ad should look,
Mhm,
for
mhm,
example, in marketing. Um, and it's just easier to show somebody by, creating a visual from scraps of images that you find and sort of photoshopping them together. And that's kind of the way we work. I sort of put something disgusting together using, Google images, and then I would give it to Rod and I'm like, something like that with this
mhm.
color palette. And then he makes it look beautiful. So that's kind of the way it works.
Awesome.
Nice.
So, like, out of curiosity, how long do you think it will take to produce the full version of the comic that you want to make? You guys get 100% funded, everything is good to go.
Uh,
Ideally, I love December, but Rod's really the one who determines that.
no, yeah. The problem is I don't have a second job, so I just do both my life drawing. So as we don't have Marvel and DC money, I need to get pages from different creators. So I pay
Yeah,
3 pages for one project, 3 pages for one project. So in the month, I have 20 pages to produce, but different creators. If I have the money, I can focus more on Factory, Echo, and then I can produce more faster the pages. I don't need to get another work, another work, another work, another work. And yeah, but we produce already 5 pages already for the story, right?
oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think if I get like 3 days 2.5, I think, before December.
Nice.
Before
And
December,
about
we deliver.
how many pages are you thinking that the book will be in total?
I think it will be 33, right?
Yep.
33?
That's
Okay,
right.
nice,
Yeah.
nice.
And we produce a concept, we produce so many things already. We have very defined what we need to produce to finish the story. It's hard when the guys make like a campaign, but they don't have any idea of produce when they have the money.
Yeah.
Man, I already participate of projects like that, and I say, man, this will sink. But Aaron have a very, it's like John Harvard from Black Tiger. He knows what he needs to finish the book. That's 100% good already.
Yeah, just give me the
Awesome.
money. Just pay me.
Yeah.
And I'll
And
get
it's
it
done.
done.
And it's
Yeah.
done. And it'll be done for sure. Like
Yeah.
Amanda B say, in Rod we trust.
Um, very cool. So, what comics are you guys reading right now?
Right now, I'm over here. I read this one, Medic Order, from Oliver Coipel.
Oh, I haven't
Very
seen that
good.
one.
Very good. I bought the French version, so it's all black and white because I love black and white art. It's very
Very cool.
awesome. I bought this one. This one is because it's in Portuguese version, but it's Adventurers, I think.
Oh,
It's
very
for
cool.
Terry Dodson. Very good art. Very beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. And I'm a big fan of Hellboy, so from times to times I read Hellboy again and again and again because I like this kind of fantasy story. Nah, not so day by day story. I like crazy stories, sci-fi, horror. So yeah, I'm reading that.
Man, putting me to shame. I've only got this one.
Aliens.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Going back to the classics, bro. Yeah.
But that's the thing when you were talking about another day. It's hard, man, to bring something new these days. Uh, we uh, we we try to read new things, but we always read the old comic books, the classics one, because the story was more deeper, more stronger. The story,
Yeah.
or we are getting older, and nothing else surprise us anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, I
That's
think
the
you're right.
problem.
So Amanda says, last book I
Oh,
read
Amanda,
was Black Tiger: Legacy of Fury. Good choice, Amanda.
nice, good choice. Here it is, Black Tiger. Good book.
I think that there's reasons why some of those older movies really stuck around. One, like you were saying, yeah, the story, it's a lot deeper. They were better written back then.
Mhm. Yeah.
Right now, a lot of books and movies, like things just happen. There's no real reason.
Hmm.
Um, but I think too, it's the sense of art direction. Aliens had that really heavy, dark shadows. Everything
Yeah.
worked together. But
Yeah.
I think that even Alien, back then, I'm sure they were comparing it to like I can't think of any movie, but there's like all sorts of older sci-fi
Hmm.
movies where like you're stuck on a boat with a
Yeah.
murderer or
Yeah.
something
Yeah.
like that. I don't.
Shark, something like
Yeah.
that.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly, exactly.
This
I think
kind
it's
of
more.
horror feeling.
It's more like it's fine to make the old story. It's just you got to give it your own flavor and make it
Hmm.
feel different.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, pretty much that's what we've done here is take the movie Alien and reinvent the way it looks and feels, pretty much. It's
Yeah.
the way you execute the story
Hmm.
using different elements. That's kind of the way I look at it. Everything's been done,
Hmm.
everything,
Yeah,
and
everything.
that includes graphic design. That's kind of the way I feel about it.
All yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I was trying. I'm writing a comic book for myself, and sometimes I have this great idea, and then I show a friend and say, "Meh, it was done." I say, "Oh man, no, I have another one." Meh, was done. Oh, it's a video game, it's an animation, it's a comic book, it's a movie. I say, "Oh my god!" So it's like Aaron say, you need to get the core idea and mix with different elements and try to bring something new. But it's hard. It's hard to create something new.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw an interview with George R. R. Martin, the guy who
Mm.
wrote Game of Thrones, and he said his philosophy is if you take from one place, that's stealing. If you
Yeah,
take
if
from
you
a
take
lot of
from your
places,
place,
that's research.
yeah, for sure, for
Yeah.
sure. I believe it. I believe it. Yeah.
Yeah. Borrow. Right. You're
Mhm.
just borrowing. You're
Hmm.
inspired a lot of the
Hmm.
time.
Exactly, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Aaron, or I guess Rod too. So, when you guys were coming up with this concept, like what kind of art influenced the look and the feel of the book?
Well, for me, it was Blade Runner. That was a huge one.
Mm.
Mm,
I just kept
Mm.
sending Rod Blade Runner.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it was just a bunch of pictures of Blade Runner.
And the
Like,
second one, right? The second one was very big influence in the colors. I remember one reference was the big hologram
yeah.
in purple and blue, and he sent to me and say, "Oh, I think I know what I want." But yeah, Blade Runner, Aliens, of course. I love to look.
and Dead
I
Space.
I don't know if the visual, but the no, the Horizon. What's the name?
Oh, Event Horizon.
Oh,
Event
Event
Horizon.
Horizon. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, his movie. Yeah, has a huge influence. No, I don't know if say in colors, but in the feeling of the art. I'm trying. I still trying to find a way. I
Mhm.
don't want. I like I said earlier. I don't want to lose too much black in the colors because when it printed, if you don't get a very good place to print, man, the comic book will be all black. You mix with the colors, terrible. So when I'm doing dark shadows, I try to reach almost 100% black. Like I stay in 80%
Mhm.
because I had this experience already. I print a comic book who's 100% black, and man, terrible, terrible printed.
Oh no.
Yeah, I'm trying to make shadows with colors, not just black. Um, but yeah, but we have this path that we know how to follow. I think people will like it, and we are having a very good engagement in those
Mhm.
first days of campaign. I didn't expect so many people because we don't have a big social media.
No faith. No faith,
No,
brother. Come on.
yeah, no, but not for the quality of the project,
Right.
because today is all about social media, bro. It's all about social media, and we have already 15%, man, and we have 5 days yet to finish the campaign. It's very good, very good.
Yeah, it's a pretty good start for first campaign.
Yeah, totally.
I've been on the phone all week. Calling
And
in favors. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, I've seen it pretty much everywhere on my Instagram and a lot on
yeah.
Twitter.
Aaron is working hard, man. Every day that I wake up, I say, "Whoa!" 5 posts on Instagram, 5 posts on Twitter. The guy's working hardcore on the market. Sometimes I try to help, like I make like one post the guy made 10 posts in one day. I say, oh man, I can't. Sorry, I had 3 kids. I can't stay.
Fair enough.
No, I don't have time. I wish I
Yeah.
could have this time, but I don't have time anymore.
Well,
But
I don't sleep.
Oh yeah. Oh, I wish I could do that.
That's okay.
But
20 more years.
Yeah, 20 more years and I'm free again.
Yeah, so that's interesting. Is this the cover here?
That's a potential cover.
Oh, potential cover.
And
Okay.
I'm saying this very clearly because I want Rod to know, because he did a bunch of artwork that I haven't forgot about your artwork, Rod.
Of course, man.
This is
No
just
worries.
the direction I would like to go in, go into the future. I will most likely contact you at some point and say, can you make something like this? But I did make this myself using Rod's artwork. It's concept art.
Yeah, he's one of the characters there.
Yeah, the main character, Alex. But yeah, that's the vibe of the whole comic. It's very wacky. It's very clearly people have lost their minds, and that's the fun of it. So yeah.
So in this world, you mentioned that people use the psychedelics to help with the genetic modification, but do they like go into these salvage operations normally, just like completely tripping, or is it?
It may be a result of them being trapped and not having any other way to cope with the situation, and these drugs make them feel better. So it's kind of it's a good and bad thing. They're getting relief, but then it's slightly twisting their minds a little bit the more and more they use it. Yeah, so you'll see that as the story continues.
Right. And can you tell us a little bit about the cult? Like, what is a cult doing on a derelict ship out in the middle of nowhere?
So without giving too much away, they may have this scientific group on board the ship, this research group. They may have discovered something that is very similar to an angel. It's got very similar bone structure to what you would think of as an angel. And when people are already on the edge of, going a little bit, crazy, a little bit loopy, you start to make connections, don't you? Like a lot of people will start seeing connections where there are none. And that's kind of where the cult starts to develop, let's say, as a result of almost scientific discovery meets drug use, meets a search for, belief and understanding of purpose, maybe in the universe.
Nice.
It's a lot of confusion, basically, on the human being's part. So that's kind of the base of the story. Everyone just trying to figure out what's going on.
Interesting. So is this kind of like our world, but in the future, or is this like a separate Earth? If you know what I mean, like.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's anything related to where we are now, currently, this world. It's if it was, it's way in the future, so far in the future that we have developed technology that doesn't exist, that's not found here. So in that way, it's kind of fantasy, because there's a lot of elements that they just don't exist. It's it's kind of room to play, if you get what I'm saying.
Yeah. All right.
Nice.
Very cool. And so, when you guys were working on the design, since both of you are artists by trade, was it Aaron, were you just like, here, Rod, I want something like this, or was there like a lot of back and forth where both of you were doing art?
Rod, what do you think?
No, it's funny because we have a lot of mentally connected in this book.
Mm-hmm.
I think his experience as a designer was great, man. Because, like I said, he knows what he wants. So he gave to me the exactly reference, and I understand what he wants. So for me, facilitate my work 100%. Um, yeah, and we don't we that's why I leave the book before December, because we don't have this back and forth too much.
Mm-hmm.
He sent the text, I do the layouts, send to him, send the pencils. In the pencils already, that is very important part. In the pencils, he gave me the almost 80% of the direction to finish the page. Because when I'm painting and finish the page, um, as I work in Procreate, I don't work in Photoshop. I have a limit layers, so I have 4 layers to use. On the Photoshop, I have a lot, but in Procreate, I have 4. So if it start to make too much changes, um, is more difficult to change in Procreate.
Mm-hmm.
I can do in Photoshop, but I don't feel the way to paint in Photoshop for me is not organic, it's plastic.
Hmm.
So I prefer Procreate. It's very, very organic because I drew in the screen, the pen, it's everything. It seems like a painting with gouache or watercolor. So good, so good. So I always ask to Aaron, I say, man, give me the direction um, on the pencils or in the preview colors, because in the end is more hard to change. But man, those pages we produce very fast. I just didn't produce more faster because I was working with the other projects. Aaron is financing from his pocket, so man, he everything he have he gave to me to finish the page. But if you have the amount of money secure the project, man, you'll be very fast to produce this comic book, because we don't have this back and forth too many times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like the man said, it's
Yeah.
really not that hard. It's
Mm.
very easy and enjoyable.
Yeah, totally. And
Cool.
freedom. Like I said in another instant, we need, when you are working with art and creation, you need to have freedom. And Arrow respects a lot of my ideas. I respect a lot of his ideas. And we talk about anything in project. We don't say, oh, I don't say that because the guy won't do like that. No, we are totally free to create a really good comic book and story.
Hmm. Um, so, I am curious too that a lot of the indie comic book market is kind of aimed at a US audience. Um,
Mhm.
so, do you guys think that, both of you not being Americans, like, is there something special that you guys are bringing, like a different point of view or whatnot to these comics that you wouldn't see in a lot of other indies?
Mm,
Interesting question.
yeah.
I mean, the only thing I can think of is really the fact that I live in Australia, and it's without throwing Australia under the bus, so to speak. Uh, there's not a lot going on over here compared to the
Mm,
US. You know,
mm,
it's great here, but having time where you get quite bored, the boredom creates a lot of
yeah.
ideas.
Yeah.
So maybe that, but
Mhm.
yeah, I don't
I
know.
I live in Australia for 2 years in Brisbane. Man, imagine a beautiful country, bro. Beautiful, perfect, but nothing happens. Nothing, bro. It's peaceful. Like, I was so funny because I came from Brazil. Brazil, man. São Paulo is like New York, Tokyo, and India mix. Everything happens all the time, for good and for bad. So you have violence, you have all things good, you have things. Man, I live here for 47 years, and I don't know even half of my city. Restaurants, everything they have here. So everything happens here. When I live in Australia, it was fun because I turned it on the TV to watch the news, and the news was the alligator invades the backyard of some house. I say, what? What's going on? Never happened here in São Paulo. Never. And so those kind of things, those kind of issues. So the old lady is asking to fire people to get the cat from the tree. You know what I mean? I say, what? Nothing's happening. So, but that's good because when I live in Australia, I work in concept art company, a video game company. So I have a regular time to work. So I work from 8 to 5, and when I arrive at home, like and the city is small, dude, I create so many good comic books. I keep working with John in Black Tiger. I create my own comic book. I wrote a story that unfortunately I didn't have time to push forward, and in my time Indiegogo and Kickstarter doesn't exist at that time. But my story is exactly the same of a TV show of Amazon Prime. It's exactly the same, man. The
Oh yeah.
same. Yeah. The show named Carnival Row?
Yeah.
That is a fair tale.
Hmm.
Is a detective with a fairy, right?
Yeah.
I have the concepts, man. I did the
Oh
concepts. I did,
no.
yeah, everything, man, everything. But I did have time to push forward as a comic book. But yeah, like, I believe that what Aaron say, it gives peace of mind to create. And here, this very fast life also give me ideas to create, because you turn it on the TV, man, you have idea for 2 years of what happened here. So I think both of those mixing things, I think we are bringing to this comic book in the market in US. Outside that, we are very, and I can see on Aaron too, we are very influenced by US culture. Man, I grow up watching Star Wars, Indiana Jones, uh, Aliens. I watch it all of it, all of.
So when you guys are talking to Americans, do you think that you have different takes on like the comics and the movies than the Americans who are reading them? Because like one thing I noticed when I lived in Tokyo for a couple years, and then I lived in Beijing for 4 years, and like so I experienced the same things as the locals, but like I would always have like a different interpretation, because I bring my background to it.
Mm-hmm.
Do you guys
Mm.
find the same thing when you're consuming American media?
Yeah, but for me, what I can see in the indie market right now on Indiegogo, and it's something that I don't like. I think people is stuck in the 90s. They
Mm,
try to make comic books like Jim Lee did in the 90s. You know what I mean? It's
yeah,
the
yeah,
same
yeah.
superhero, is the same kind of things. And for me as a Brazilian guy, to have this big vision of the world, I try to collect ideas from everywhere, from manga, from European albums, from movies. I have been watching a lot of Spanish movie because they have a lot of good stories. So yeah, I believe we have this different kind of vision. I'm talking about for myself. I don't like to stay too much just reading comics. I reading here and there, but I like
Mhm.
to research different medias and cultures. I don't know Aaron if he has this view.
Yeah, I mean, I think I agree. It's I have noticed when I speak to my American friends that they have an expectation, let's say, for how the story should maybe go, or what they're expecting it to play out like. And I mean, you know, that's not saying that Americans aren't creative. I just think
no, far away of it.
yeah, they're just used to a certain formula, maybe.
Yeah.
And when you grow up in America, like I've heard it time and time again that you're kind of exposed to the same stuff and you don't really get outside influence from other countries. So I don't
It's
know.
very close market. It's a little bit close market because they are very big, man.
Yeah.
So they have a strong marketing in everything, in movie, books, in comic books. Yeah, man.
I think that is one thing. So, you know, I'm in my 40s. I think part of it is the culture and the money. So because, you know, especially the 80s, you know, the US culture was very strong. And we had the money to produce all sorts of our own entertainment that, you know, we didn't really get a lot of foreign entertainment, with the exception of Japanese cartoons. There was like a period of maybe 5 years in the 80s where, you know, the Saturday morning cartoons, they were all from Japan for a little while. And then parents complained because it was much too violent for the US. So you got the very boring cartoons of the 90s, but then it sort of like picked up again in the late 90s. But yeah, other than that, you know, we, like most Americans, have never seen a Brazilian movie, other than, you know, like Mad Max and the Crocodile Dundee movies. They haven't really seen Australian movies. So I do think that, you know, it's like a double-edged sword. I think it's an opportunity for people to come in and like do something different than most of the audience has seen. But then, yeah, there is that expectation. Like I know just the story structure of how they do it in East Asia is different, and a lot of Americans like don't find that as satisfying.
Yeah, that's actually interesting because, you know, even with I think it's Japanese stories, the robots are actually helpful, and in American culture, robots always become, you know, our undoing. You know, they want to destroy us. You know.
Yes.
But in Japanese culture, I'm pretty sure, I could be wrong on that, but in Japanese, you know, cartoons, they are
heroes. Yeah, they are heroes. They are helping us.
Yeah, they're friendships. So, yeah, like they have friendships with these robots, and they're kind of cute, you know.
Yeah, good.
You know, we have Americans have Terminator. It's like not as cute.
But that's I think is because of the culture. America was building up in war, so they have a very strong. That's hero too, right? They have the strong feeling of the hero and the war. So all this aliens, Terminator, all that, those kind of things, hero and the war, hero and the war, hero and the war. We are outside. We have another different kind of thing. In Brazil, is very mainly the story is about survival. Generally, survive of the day by day issues. So you have a lot of stories of corrupted government or favela or crime or cops. We have a lot of we don't have too much fantasy stories here. It's more ground take. Right now with Netflix, Amazon, we start to see some TV shows produced here in Brazil that is more similar to American. We start to have horror stories that is good, but with Brazilian flavor. But then I'm starting to see some of the Brazilian stories trying to adapt to American market. So you start to be the same and they start to lose the flavor of Brazilian story.
Yeah, I mean, that's always a problem, I think, because, you know, Netflix is fantastic because, you know, I watch a lot of foreign shows, And actually, there was one from Brazil I watched last year. It was like the one guy was like an environmental police in Rio de Janeiro.
Yeah, because with the fantasy
Yeah,
is
exactly,
yeah. This is really good, because we have the what's the name, folklore, right, in English. Um, Let me get here. And they mix it very well
hmm
with the American story.
Yeah, I think one of the only problems is that Netflix is ultimately an American company,
Yeah,
so it's still American dollars,
yeah, yeah. Uh, and they want to sell for the whole world. So the problem is, in a few years, everything start to see the
Look
same.
the
It
same.
start to be
Yeah,
look the same,
yeah,
because you need to please different countries at the same time. Uh,
yeah. I do
and
think
that
there's some.
sorry.
Oh, sorry. I was going to say, I do think there's something else too that, American media has gone out to so many other countries in the world for like the last 40 years at least,
Mm,
that I think people in other countries too, there's somewhat of a familiarity. So it might be easier to sell
mm,
shows and things
mhm,
that are similar.
mhm,
But do you
mm.
guys think we're going to see more indie indie movies or TV?
Indie movies.
You know,
I don't know.
like well, what do you think, Aaron? Like, do you think like in Australia it would be possible to like start to crowdfund in addition to comics? Like maybe comics is the first step, and then we'll be able to get like smaller movies. So then you will be able to have like 100% Australian content, if that makes sense. Like,
Yeah, I mean that's always been my hope that Australia produces something that's not a drama, you know, something
Oh
that's not
yeah.
yeah. Well, Mermaids was
relationship
a
or
fantastic show.
yeah. Right. Yeah. Like we've had a few sci-fi things come out recently that I paid attention to, and they were Australian,
Mm.
but they had American accents. So it's like,
Come on.
I don't know. I don't know.
But that's pretty funny considering half of the actors in Hollywood are from Australia now.
Right.
Yeah, Hugh Jackman is very amazing actor and Australian, and so many others.
The Hemsworth
Uh,
brothers and
yeah, yeah.
That's right. Doing us proud. Yeah, there's a lot of them for sure. They're very
But
pretty.
in the end, what you define is market.
Mhm.
It's money, man.
Yeah,
If
sure.
you don't make money for the companies, they don't even invest in on your amazing idea. It won't happen. That's it. Simple. Um, that's very tough line, because you want to produce very different kind of story, amazing. Nobody did that before, but then the producer or the editor say, yeah, but this in US won't sell, and that's it. That's, I think, platforms like Indiegogo and Kickstarter is
Mhm.
good, because it's the audience that will define if it's good to invest or not. We don't have an editor, we don't have anything. It's are the fans, that will invest on us, and you guide
Definitely.
for the next issues of those stories, or whatever. If you make a movie of it or whatever, only about the fans.
Do you guys kind of see the market shifting? So, still everything seems somewhat oriented towards the US, but do you see like maybe not counting China, but like other countries in Asia or, Latin America, like people starting to make more content that's really aimed towards them?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, there's a recent Netflix show called Cowboy Bebop. Have you guys heard of that?
Yeah, it was animation, right?
It was it's a live action Netflix series based on I think an anime. Was it anime?
Yeah, anime.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was based on
Totally,
anime.
totally weird, totally different from what I'm used to seeing. And I don't think that would be possible without the, the anime fan base. They're crazy.
Mm-hmm.
They
Yeah.
love all that sort of stuff.
Mhm.
That wouldn't have been around a few years ago.
Yeah,
That's kind of different.
totally.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
I see
true.
that. I see that. Because now we have social media, so the fans make posts, video, YouTube, whatever, to bring the attentions of those streaming TV shows producers. They are watching, man, for sure. They are watching everything that is producing in comics, and Marvel and DC brought that to movies, open that window, because how many stories do we have of Batman? How many? How many
Yeah.
stories you have from Superman? They
Yeah.
guys need bring something more new. Oh, Batman changed his underwear
Yeah,
again.
I think that's
You know what I
because
mean?
most of those are bad,
Mm,
so they say, oh, well, this was very bad, so we'll make a good one this time. And then they just don't.
they do the same. It's like Spider-Man. I love Spider-Man, but
Hmm.
again and again and again
Uh,
and again,
I know.
dude. You know what I mean? You know
There's
what I
too
mean?
many. Too many.
It's too many. Stop. I was talking about that with a friend another day,
Hmm.
and man, even Marvel DC comic books, I think they should stop for like 2 years to produce comics. Stop. You know what I mean? Don't
Yeah.
release Spider-Man. Don't release any story of Batman. Let people forget about those characters a little bit, like 5 years, and then you bring back again Batman again. You know what I mean? I say,
Yeah.
oh, I miss so much Batman. Man, every single month, every single year, another movie. Man, come on.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think the producer, and what you are seeing in Netflix right now is that uh, that TV show from German that is about time travel,
Dark.
dark.
Yes.
Yes.
That's what I'm talking about. People are the producer are looking for s- different stories. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And comic books is a very rich fountain of ideas. So yeah, I think we start to change something different. I hope, because I honestly, or I'm too old. It can be. I don't want to see another Batman movie, another Spider-Man movie, another Avenger movie. For me, it's good.
So if Netflix or Amazon Prime came to you guys and said, "We want Fractured Echo for a TV series," would you do it?
100%. That's the whole thing. That's the goal, is to get it on Netflix or to get a movie out of it.
For
Uh,
sure. For
yeah.
sure.
I mean, that was kind of the conversation before even making
Mhm.
comic book, is I wanted a TV show or a
Mhm.
movie or a video game. Uh,
Mhm.
I love that side of things because I feel
Mhm.
very comfortable there.
Mhm.
This was like, okay, I'll start here, I guess. And then it kind of, it turned into a much bigger thing. And now I'm very happy to be here. But uh, yeah, ultimately, I wanted to go towards, live action, which would be great.
Mhm.
Very cool.
It's going to take some
Uh,
time, though.
you get there. Um, let's see. So, give us a quick rundown on the different perks.
The different perks. So you've got your standard digital copy, which you can just
Oh,
download as
here
a
we go.
PDF.
Hmm.
You've got your physical printed copy, which is any typical comic book will come in this form, just printed, but the colors it'll be full color. You'll get all the beautiful artwork that Rod's done. in a physical printed copy that you can show off to everyone you know, which is only $25 AUD. So it's a bit of a
So that
steal.
works out to, according to my Indiegogo here, that works out to $17 US.
Perfect. Buy one. You're basically robbing me blind. Not to mention I didn't put shipping in there. So, yeah.
And that does, so this is worldwide shipping. You ship anywhere or only to a few countries or?
Worldwide,
Worldwide,
because I don't want to exclude anyone. I've already had some conversations on social media with people in other countries. So everyone's invited. For our next bundle, our first bundle, this is where you start to see some of the merchandise that I've been working on that I'm not sure if Rod thought anyone would actually buy. I had a conversation with him and I wasn't sure, like in his mind, whether people would give a crap that there's a keychain. But yes, you can buy a keychain, get a sticker, a holographic sticker, and a bookmark, which I think it's a pretty good deal considering it's only $50. And our US audience gets it for much cheaper. So yeah. As it goes up, you get a poster included. It's a
cool.
A1 size, so standard poster size. Yeah. And then next package up from that is a T-shirt with the Fractured Echo logo on the front, on the breast pocket.
Nice.
And then if you go up from that, you get our special edition T-shirt bundle, which comes with 2 T-shirts. The first is the standard T-shirt we just talked about, and the second is a design that's based on one of Rod's drawings, and that's on the same spot as the other T-shirt, but it's got our logo and the skull design underneath. And it includes everything.
Right. Yeah. Oh, I see. All right, that makes sense.
And
Alpha
now,
Centauri?
Yeah, it's all based on stars. So it was one of the guys working on the project with me, Ned. He came up with the stars as names. I thought it was pretty cool. But basically, this package is where we start with the NFTs, and I'm very aware that the market for NFTs right now isn't exactly amazing, but I believe it's going to pick up. So I've invested in NFTs. This is where you can pick up.
High.
Yeah, exactly. So you can get your exclusive Fractured Echo NFT in this bundle, and it includes everything that you saw in the previous bundles, except for that specialty T-shirt with the skull design. And the NFT itself is animated, so every piece of it moves.
Very cool.
And then we get to legendary. Sorry, yeah, go ahead.
Oh, no, I was just going to ask what the difference is between the regular NFT and the legendary NFT bundle.
Legendary is all based on sort of pop culture movies and games. So the one that's sort of featured in that little thumbnail is based on the Cyberpunk 2077 video game. It's got all the colors from that video game. We'll also be doing a Matrix one. Pretty sure that was something we floated around a little bit. But yeah, each one, there's only, was it 5 of those? Yeah. So we'll be doing 5 of those NFTs, and each one is one of one. If you get the Matrix version, nobody else has that. So in that way, it's very special.
Very cool. And last one, the exclusive inked bundle.
Yeah, so as stated earlier, we went through a few pages that were inked by Rod, and I wanted to make use of them because they're so beautiful. He's done such an amazing job. So instead of throwing them away and not thinking about them, I've turned them both into marketing material, which everybody's seen online. Plus, you can own one of the pages in this bundle. We're only printing 6. So anyone who wants to jump onto this this offer and grab one of these, you're going to be one of the owners of these 6 pages.
Yeah, was the beginning of we were thinking about to make black and white, so I won't produce anymore because everything is done digitally right now. So it's very rare. This bundle is very rare.
Very cool. Let me see here. So yeah, I'm
30 backers. Great.
Hey,
so up a little
Nice.
bit.
Yep.
I'll take credit for
Rising
that.
up. For
Thank
sure.
you.
Thanks, bro. Thank you, bro. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I gotta say there are more people awake at this time of the morning than I
Do
thought there
you
would
really
be.
expect? Yeah, for sure.
But so any last thoughts before we take off? Anything else we should know about Fractured Echo?
Anything you should know about Fractured Echo? Well, you should know that it's going to be pretty wacky. The story is going to take some left turns that you wouldn't expect, but it's going to be a classic sci-fi horror in every sense, just with the added psychedelic left turn. I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, that's something that I like in this story. This kind of psychedelic. I don't know. I even myself I don't read it until the end because I want to be surprised by the story as I start to produce the pace. So, but I'm feeling it's this real is happening or is in the mind of someone in the ship. I don't know. I want to read. I want to read in the end. I want to be surprised as I start to draw the pages.
That's right. Even I don't know.
Yes, I know.
All right. Well, thanks for joining me for the morning. Thanks for everyone in the chat for coming by and saying hello. So let me see. This week on the 30th, I have Adam Lawson coming by to talk about Exiled, his project with Wesley Snipes. So are you guys going to be anywhere else this week?
Nice.
No.
I think no. No. Maybe Michael Bancroft. Maybe because it was the flu.
Oh yeah.
So maybe Michael. And next week, I think we be on pop culture, pop
Nice.
experience with Billy Tucci on third, right? Yeah.
Very cool.
So yeah, we'll be around. Sorry for the baby.
It's okay. So yeah, everyone check Twitter, Instagram for
please, backers
for future dates and times, and hopefully we'll see you guys again soon.
See. Thanks a lot, man.
It was really good.
Bye.
Had
Really
fun.
good.